Hi, Bolo here with Southeastern Mounted Shooters Association. Welcome back to Introduction to Mounted Shooting. This is part 3. In case you missed part 1, we covered the guns, ammunition, some other equipment that we need to get started in mounted shooting. In part 2, we covered how to get involved with a local club, association, sanctioning bodies, and the competition itself. Today's part 3. This is going to be the most fun, I think. We're going to cover the horse itself. After all, it is mounted shooting, right? So, and horses involved. So we're going to cover breeds of horse, tack that we use for mounted shooting, and we're going to go over how we train and prepare these horses for mounted shooting competition. So welcome back to part 3, the shooting horse. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to part 3 of Introduction to Mounted Shooting. First thing I want to really talk about is basic training. Mounted shooting, like many other high-level competitive sports activities for your horse, especially speed events, is kind of a college-level activity. You really want a nice foundation, a nice high school education for your horse before you start these things. And what I mean by high school education, a horse that can walk, trot, canter, turn left, turn right, stop, and be able to guide him through without any issues. All right, it's kind of like asking a kid to take a college level class when he hasn't had the high school version. It's just not fair. So think about putting a nice foundation on your horse. Unless you can again take your horse and just simply walk, trot, canter, and guide him and so forth reliably, then go back to your foundation before you start getting to any really high-level competition activity. Just want to throw that out there. All right, let's talk about breeds. All right, any breed can compete in cowboy mounted shooting. We have thoroughbreds, we have Pasafinos, Tennessee Walkers, of course, quarter horses. Anything, there's no restriction on the breed, so you ride what you bring. As far as breed restrictions, that's nice. Bring anything you want. Now I want to talk about a little bit about the equipment we use in mounted shooting for the horse. Now I'm going to start with hearing protection. All right, right here. Okay, the first thing we want to do is protect our horse. All right, we want to protect our horse's ears. Just as we covered in part 1 about the rider wearing eye protection and hearing protection, we want hearing protection for our horse. All right, it's a loud bang, and we just want to take care of them. So you can make your own. These are like cat toys and nylons. People manufacture these, so you can find these online, I'm sure. But get you some hearing protection. It just kind of goes in your ear. We tie them off on top of the halter so you don't lose them, and that protects the horse's hearing. All right, so I just want to start off with that. All right, okay. I want to talk about, we'll just start right here with the bit. I like to use just a smooth snaffle with an O-ring, egg butt, D-ring, something like that. All right, a smooth snaffle in the mouth, and I always want a 1-to-1 pull. Okay, I don't really like leverage so much. I think the key is in your hands. You want to be as soft in the horse's mouth as possible. So I always recommend using just a 1-to-1 pull for this. All right, halters, kind of whatever you want there that works for you. Okay, now the reason we want that 1-to-1 pull is because we do have a specific set of reins here that's designed for mounted shooting. All right, these are a little bit short, and they have this little leather piece. They're designed for one-handed operation, obviously, because we have a gun in the other hand, and it's kind of like a smaller steering wheel in a sports car. It takes very little movement, or less movement than a normal rein. It's more in your wrist and your forearm to guide the horse, which is another reason we only want a 1-to-1 pull, because this kind of amplifies your action with your hand and your arm. All right, these are specifically for mounted shooting, and again, you can find these at well, one of our sponsors, JD Leather, makes these for us, but I'm sure you can find these at various locations. All right, okay. I want to talk about a little bit about tie downs. I see a lot of people using tie downs in mounted shooting. Tie downs have their application. Ropers need tie downs to keep the horse's head down, because they need to see the cow in front of them, and they need to throw a rope over the horse's head. All right, but then in roping, the horse is only going pretty much in a straight line, or in team roping, making a left turn type of thing. In mounted shooting, it's a speed event, and we're running a very complicated course, left, right, and pretty rapidly, so the horse moves, on the front end quite quickly. So there's no need for a tie down in mounted shooting, because the horse needs their head for balance. And when you're running a complicated course, the horse needs to keep their balance. All right, there's no need to use a tie down to keep the horse's head down in mounted shooting, because you should never ever shoot your gun anywhere around the horse's head, much less over the horse's head. Okay, we pretty much use a 45-degree angle away from the horse's head. We're in the saddle, we're over here, and that gun never gets that closer to this horse's head. And never, ever, ever do we fire any firearm over the horse's head. And when the horse gets good, the horse can naturally kind of keep his head down. But if he doesn't, that's fine too, because again, we do not shoot our gun anywhere over or around or close proximity to the horse's head. So there's no need for a tie down, in my opinion, in mounted shooting. All right. Okay, I want to move kind of back to the saddle. As far as saddles is concerned, there's no restriction. I like it. They don't have to be fancy. I just use my everyday working tack. But you can wear we have a very high level shooter that uses English tack. So there's minor restrictions, but and those are just for safety. But typical tack that you ride is just fine. All right, doesn't have to be anything special. Okay. Now, if you're going to do shotgun or rifle, we have a thing called a scabbard. Okay, we attach this here to our saddle. That's the only piece of equipment you might want to add to your tack or to your saddle if you want to do those classes of rifle and shotgun, because you need a holster that. Because when we do a shotgun or a rifle run, we shoot 5 targets with a pistol. We holster the pistol, and then we shoot 5 more with the rifle. So again, a scabbard will come in handy as far as more tack. All right, and last but not least, I want to talk about sports medicine boots. All right, anytime that I'm training a horse, when you start getting to a higher level, all right, I like to use these. And anytime I'm making a mounted shooting run, I like to use, these are sports medicine boots. This particular brand is Professional Choice. All right, and my horses wear them. They're cheap insurance. They kind of support your horse's legs, and it's just nice protection, keeps them from stepping in, especially if you do some lateral stuff. It helps. So I always recommend, if you're doing any kind of performance activity with your horse, pick up your pair of sports medicine boots and put them on your horse and use them. All right, so that's about it with the tack. So we're going to continue on with this. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come right back, and we're going to get in more of the actual how we train the horse and prepare these horses and get them ready for mounted shooting competitions. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the shooting horse. We just discussed the breeds that can be used in mounted shooting, which is any breed. We just discussed the tack we use, a specialized tack, like the shooting range, hearing protection. We discussed some tack that we discourage using, such as tie downs and leverage bits. We like to use 1-to-1 pull here. And we also discussed some nice foundation training we like to put on a horse. Again, you should at least be able to walk, trot, canter, turn left, turn right, stop your horse reliably before you start asking them to do higher level competitions. So put a nice foundation training on your horse before you start asking for college level activity. All right, so now we're going to get into how we actually train and prepare these horses for mounted shooting competition. Okay, Once we've checked the student out on the ground and made sure they're proficient and safe with the firearm, and then before we actually get into them actually shooting the firearm off the horse, we bring them in and we have the students circle an instructor. And the instructor uses a firearm. He shoots various loads. This is a way of desensitizing the horse without getting into the course itself. Without the student actually shooting the gun, the instructor actually fires the gun. All right. And then we change directions. Of course, whatever you train a horse on one side, you need to turn around and train on the other side. Of course, horsemanship 101. All right, so we train on both sides of the horse. And then also you'll see when we have a new horse, we'll put them on the outside of a seasoned horse during this circle while the instructor is firing the gun. And the new horse feels a lot more comfortable when he's riding beside and outside of a seasoned horse. So this works very, very, very well. And again, we just circle the instructor while he fires various loads. And this is kind of the beginning of getting a horse desensitized, right, to the firearm and the noise. Okay, once we did the circle around the instructor, we have all the horses face up. Mounted shooting, when we fire the firearm, it's black powder, so it creates a kind of a cloud and smoke. So we want the horses desensitized to the smell as well as the sound to the firearm. All right, as I mentioned earlier, we're very adamant about not firing the firearm anywhere around or over the horse's head. And here is a graph to illustrate this area. And this is what we teach our students. You never even really point the gun anywhere in the red zone. All right. We teach our students to always have the weapon pointed and firing the weapon. We use a clock reference at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, etc. So we never shoot the weapon anywhere in the red zone. And again, this is here to illustrate that. It's very important, and this is just for safety. Now, there's a thing we call the rainbow, and there's a separate video we have actually addressing this one exercise we call the rainbow, where we actually take the weapon high over the horse's head. This rainbow exercise we've developed is to develop the rider's motor skills. Okay, we exaggerate to teach. We want the rider to get in the habit of bringing that gun and pointing that barrel straight up in the air as you cross over. We have to shoot targets from the left and to the right, so we want the barrel pointed up and away from the horse anytime we move the weapon from left to right. And this rainbow exercise, again, develops some motor skills in order for the riders to do this. Okay, now we're on horseback, and we have the instructor trailing the student, and here is a good example of the rainbow. And again, we emphasize gun safety, and so this exercise is designed to develop the rider's motor skills so that they always know that even though when they get better at this and to get to be an experienced rider, the gun will actually come down and they will be faster, but developing these motor skills early on actually teaches them to always keep the barrel of that gun up and over and never ever pointing that gun at their horse. And that's just, again, gun safety is paramount, and this is why we really emphasize this in the very beginning. All right, and then of course the other goal here is to desensitize the horse. So again, the instructor is always following the student, making sure that in the beginning that we fire the gun back to our clock reference, no more forward than 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock for off shots. If you notice, she waits and she does not fire the gun until she's about a 90-degree angle to the horse. And again, we want to develop this horse's desensitizing slowly but surely. Okay, the next step is the student actually on their own now, once they've developed some basic skills, they come out and they start navigating the course. We usually start them at a walk, and as they improve, we like to get them up to a trot. We like them to come out and negotiate the course at a trot, again, firing the gun safely. We also use incrementally increasing loads as the horse tolerates it. And then one of the things we're looking for, again, is steadiness. We like to come out and see the horse, whatever speed they use for a gait, to maintain that steady gait throughout the entire course. So as the horse and rider team skill set improves and the horse itself gets more accustomed to all the conditions that are involved in mounted shooting, the speed naturally increases. We're emphasizing on all the basic foundation of this. Again, gun safety, horse management, and desensitizing. All right, that about wraps it up for part 3, the shooting horse. We'd like to certainly thank you folks for watching our 3-part series of Introduction to Mounted Shooting. We wanted to create this for those out there who have a lot of questions and maybe want a better understanding of what mounted shooting is all about. That's the purpose of this video. So we certainly appreciate you guys tuning in, all right? Seek out a local club or association for more information. They can be very, very helpful. Again, we're going to provide some links here on the screen so you can get more information on that. I'm just telling you, the people that are involved in this are just great. You'll never have so much fun in your life. The competition is really great and it can be fierce, but the number one element that we like to put in this sport is fun. Keep it fun, and that's what we try to do in mounted shooting. Trust me, if you try it, you will enjoy it. All right. So again, thank you very much. My name is Bolo Hunt with Southeastern Mounted Shooters Association, and we'll see you in the competition ring. Safe rides.